Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact. We'll share our insider expertise and help you get your disability claim filed and paid immediately. There is a time limit to apply, so call right now. Operators are standing by to help you.
800-968-1275. 800-968-1275. 800-968-1275. That's 800-968-1275.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This hour of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by Talent Heating and Air. When you need service, rely on Talent. From system installations to tune-ups, rely on Talent. Online at talenthvac.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we are back. We are live, and we are back in studio. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond on a beautiful Tuesday morning here in the Tennessee Valley. Your temperature right now sitting at a comfortable 58 degrees. Your high today is 78. Plenty of sunballs in the forecast for the next few days. So you might want to give Talent Heating and Air a call right now, 256-503-4490. By the time we are through this week and into next week, we're going to be close to 90s. So the temperature is going to go up a little bit. So talenthvac.com to the rescue.
Yeah.
The guys can get you all serviced up, repaired, get you a tune-up, get you a little bit of everything. And they promise they won't just sweep you out of the way.
You mean like Ladom?
There you go.
He's going to be the greatest ball player of all time if he can win this series against Oklahoma City, the defending champions, and they couldn't even scratch their asses, Scott Theisen.
No, they could not.
And now LaFraud is a free agent, I think.
I don't know what he is. I just know that he is not around
and I don't
anymore.
Think Luka Doncic played a second in the series. I didn't really watch it.
I don't know. All I know is that this is apropos, right? This is the old NSYNC song. Remember this one? Here we go. I try to forget. I know. Here we go. This is apropos. There you go.
Well, the Lakers were fools for signing Ladom. I can tell you that, because they won one bubble championship and did nothing but underachieve the whole time.
So they are done. They being the Lakers out of the playoffs. The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder extinguished that flame 115-110. They win game 4 last night in Los Angeles, by the way.
Being swept, but he's better than Jordan.
They are into the Western Conference Finals. They will await the winner of the San Antonio Spurs Minnesota Timberwolves series, which is tied at 2 heading into tonight.
Ladom is an unrestricted free agent this offseason. His HGH will have to come with him.
He played in an NBA. This is his NBA record 23rd season, by the way.
Yeah, great.
He was swept in the playoffs last night for only the
like Barry Bonds
only the fourth time only the fourth time total in those 23 seasons, but for the second time in 4 seasons, he was swept. He finished with 24 points, 12 rebounds, his 302nd career postseason game for LeBron James last night.
Yeah, good for him. He and Barry Bonds have something in common.
Yes, and you were right. The Thunder rallied in the fourth, dominating the first 3 contests against a Luka Doncic-less Lakers, winning by an average of 19.6 points per game. They only trailed by 1 with 40.9 seconds left in the game. Yes.
Look, Luka can really play, but he's got to get away from the McDonald's, okay? I mean, I still think that's one of the reasons he pulled his hammy. He's just not in shape.
Yeah.
So even if he had been on the floor, they still get swept. Or they might have won 1 game. Who cares? They're not going to win a title. And if I'm the Lakers, I'm not even offering Ladom a contract. It's time to move on and do something different. Well, I mean, I would build around Doncic. Why the hell did you trade for him otherwise?
Right.
I mean, but we'd have to get away from the McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe once a week. Because I mean, Doncic can play, but I just think their assets should be. You shouldn't be paying. I mean, LeBron's over. You know, he's in his 40s. His time has passed. He's a role player now, basically.
Yeah,
and a really good one. But to me, he's just not worth having him as your part of your big 3. If you're the Lakers, you got to move on, and you haven't done much in the last decade, man. You know, since the late, great Kobe Bryant retired. So you got to figure something out. I don't know if it's another trade, but you got to do something. You got to, I mean, come on now.
If it's not the McDonald's, it's the Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
Now I don't. And then look, who knows? And then JJ Redick, I don't know. Can he coach without LeBron, or is he going to go into convulsions? I mean, who knows? Shire may need an assistant at Duke. Maybe he can go back to Duke. Oh, and I love how some of these rumors start. Well, a lot of people thought Kerr was going to walk away. He just signed a 2-year contract.
Right.
And then people sitting there trying to say that John Shire might go to the Bulls. What? And give up Duke? Are you kidding me? For the Bulls? I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf, he hadn't won anything since the greatest player of all time got run out of town. I mean, good grief. I mean, Rose didn't even, correct me if I'm wrong, Rose was a great player, but he didn't even make the finals. That's another way you judge greatness. Have the Bulls been worth 10 cents for more than 2 years since the greatest player of all time was run out of town with his coach and the rest of the team? Because Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause, the two Jerrys, were crazy as hell.
Oh, yes, they were. They were.
I mean, you were still there in that time
They
period.
blew that thing up because
Jerry
ego
Krause was paranoid about Lynn Bias and the Celtics.
Yeah.
Just crazy. You got a cash cow. You got the greatest team, greatest player of all time, wanting to continue to play. But no, we got to get him out of here and hire Tim Floyd, who was a college coach, for God's sake. You know what the Bulls ought to do, Scott?
What do they need to do?
Sign LeDum. Try to make one more run for LeDum.
There's a lot of speculation that he might end up back in Cleveland.
Because they're good, Scott. And he's going to come prancing in like he can be the missing piece. Just like he did one other time. And it actually worked. It's the only part of his career that I'm going to give him credit for being a champion. The rest of it, he's a stat padding, overrated fraud. Who is a Hall of Famer, by the way. He just ain't in the top 10 to 15 for me. So run off the road all you want.
Not even in the 15 mark.
Nope.
We're going down the line.
Nope.
256-576-4977. That is the number. You can join us here this morning on the show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, Alabama High School Athletic Association Executive Director Heath Harmon will join the show.
I promise I won't ask Heath Harmon about LeDum.
We're just going to get a state of the state because there's a lot of stuff to talk to him about here in the state. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, what is there to talk about? But there's a lot of stuff on this college landscape that kind of affects the high school landscape. And so we got to talk to him about that. We got to talk to him about the public-private split. We got to talk to him about, just there's a lot of things on the docket to get to with Heath.
This will be the first time we've had Coach Harmon on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Coach Savarese on the show. We both dealt with Alvin Briggs many times in our careers. For me, most of the time, it was when he was a head coach at Florence, and then, of course, when he became an executive within and one of the associate directors of the Alabama High School Athletic Directors Association. I'm not sure we ever had him on when he was the executive director, but we certainly spoke with him at events, and I certainly saw him and would always try to catch up. And again, he retired at the end of the school year in 2024, and now Heath Harmon has nearly got 2 years under his belt as the executive director.
All right, let's get a break in because when we come back, the executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Heath Harmon, he's got a busy day today, but he will join the show when we return. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And a shout-out goes out to Pastor Jim Hale, who just gave me an update on how things are going in Boaz, Albertville area. Traffic is heavy, and it is bumper to bumper sometimes, but other times it's moving smoothly. Biggest thing is people driving too slow in the fast lane. So be careful as you're headed to those areas. Other than that, we're looking good all the way into Huntsville without any major delays, all the way through Gunnersville and Hampton Cove, just to hit your traffic lights mainly. We're looking good on I-65 north and southbound from the Tennessee line to south of Coleman. Keep up the good work. Keep those seat belts buckled. From the peak of the roof to the bottom of the foundation, the electrical, the plumbing, and everything in between. Are you buying a new house? Protect yourself. When you're making the biggest investment of your life, call Cruise Home Inspection and get that peace of mind. 256-529-4207. 256-529-4207. From the Rock Creek Production Studios, the most accurate traffic report in Tennessee Valley, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
When you're craving a juicy, made-to-order burger with all your favorite toppings, it's time to head to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Fresh, never-frozen, hand-formed patties, crispy, fresh-cut fries, savory hot dogs, and topped off with an ice-cold real milkshake. Five Guys knows what you like. Come and get it in Huntsville on North Parkway and on Enterprise, and in Madison on Moonshot Drive and Highway 72. Order online at fiveguys.com or just walk in. Five Guys. Perfection every time.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Before you build, know the ground beneath you. OMI Incorporated has been North Alabama's trusted name in geotechnical engineering for over 30 years. We provide subsurface investigations, environmental consulting, and construction materials testing to keep your project moving forward with confidence. Commercial, industrial, and public projects, OMI has the experience to get it right. OMI Incorporated. Experience below the surface. Visit omi-eng.com. or call 256-837-7664.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Swung on, lifted, deep left, back goes O'Donnell, he looks up, it's done, and it's over. Denzer again, the goose is loose.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. One thing you can say about Huntsville is that we are quickly becoming and have become a central hub for championships. When we're talking Alabama High School Athletic Association, we host the state wrestling tournament. We host the state soccer tournament. We host on rotating basis. When Robert Trent Jones gets to host it, we'll host the golf tournament. It's quickly becoming a hub. State swimming is here as well. It's quickly becoming a hub for the High School Athletic Association. And this past week, they spent a lot of time up here in Huntsville at the state soccer tournament.
Yes, they did. It was another great event put on by the Huntsville Sports Commission and their entire team and the AHSAA staff. And speaking of that, we are honored for the first time on our show to be joined. He's about to finish his second full year as the 6th ever AHSAA Executive Director, and that is Heath Harmon. And he's been kind enough to carve out some time out of a very busy schedule because 365 days a year the AHSAA rolls on, and he's going to join us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach Harmon, you're with Drew DeArmond and Scott Theisen. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing well,
good.
Coach.
Doing good. Thanks for well. I mean, let's just start. I mean, we wrapped up state soccer, and we talk about Huntsville being a key cog in all that. Just talk about getting the chance to be up here again for this past week.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. First of all, it's great to be in Huntsville. That's a great city. And when we talk about athletic venues, the soccer venue is second to none. And so that was great. And then the people, it's really about the people. You've got to have the venue and the certain things that you got to have to play the games, certain number of fields and those type things. But the people are what make the difference. And you had people behind the scenes. The venue was in great shape. Not only the playing fields, but the common areas. The way they handled parking, just really made you feel like you were welcomed. And so that's what we're looking for with our championship events, is that we give a great experience for our student athletes, and Huntsville certainly does that.
No question, and another great event. And then, Coach, of course, a big topic that we've been monitoring and we've seen is now we have the public and private school split, and now baseball's winding down, so once it wraps up, you'll have this will go into effect. I know you've talked to a lot of coaches and administrators and a lot of people since they've decided to do this split. What is the kind of the feedback you're getting? And then I know there was talk of a 2-year situation where you're going to monitor it. Is that going to be a deal where you're going to revisit it after 2 years, or do you feel confident, especially from a football standpoint, of how this is going to line up?
Yeah, reclassification is a 2-year process. Throughout the history of our association, we've always evaluated each classification period and reclassified every 2 years. So that's nothing different. I think there's a little bit more attention on this one because it's so new. But just like with any classification, our reclassification, it's monitored and it goes through just like anything else that our association does. We're member driven. We have a central board made up of 15 members that represent all 8 districts of the state, and they're responsible for reclassification and championship play. And so every 2 years, they take the data and obviously input from schools, and we have really strong processes for that. That's anytime I get the opportunity to talk about that. Not a lot of people know our kind of legislative processes. So it begins every year in January, where schools, if they want to make proposals to make changes to our Constitution or bylaws, they submit proposals. It's my job to review those proposals and make sure that they're actually a constitutional or bylaw that they're referring to. For example, if it's a sports rule, we follow NFHS sports, the rules for each sport. So we wouldn't propose changes to that. But if it actually applies to our Constitution or bylaws, then those go out to our member schools for a survey. And then our legislative council, which is made up of 32 members that represent our 8 districts, they meet in April to vote on those proposals. And they get enough votes, they're ratified, and they go in for the next year. So within that, we also have advisory groups. We have a principal advisory. We have a superintendent's advisory. We now have a new private school advisory. In addition to every sport that we offer, they have an advisory. So their districts, each district, we have 8 districts, select members to serve on not only the central board and the legislative council, but also the basketball committee, the baseball committee. And so throughout these processes, every time we reclassify, those members of those advisory committees obviously have ideas and feedback, and they'll do the same with this. So we'll take that feedback. That's a process that allows us to listen to our members, and Central Board takes that very seriously, and we'll as always use that as we go into the next classification.
This was a landmark, though, decision of making this public and private split. Why was the time right to do it now?
Yeah, so I think you have to look back at a little bit of the history of that. And first of all, with our public and private schools, we certainly support every single member, and would never get into the situation where any type of school is a second class member or anything like that. So the association is always held to that, and you can go back and look at a time where there were thoughts through the membership that the competition was not fair between public and private. And so one of the things that the association did was instituted a multiplier, what we call a multiplier, which is private schools would count their students with a 1.35 multiplier to get their enrollment. And that, I think, people felt like worked for a while. And then once that kind of ran its course, so to speak, and people were like, that's not enough, the association put in competitive balance, which by sport, if a private school reached a certain level of success, they would have to play up. A lot of people call it playing up. If you were classified in 3A, but you achieved a certain amount of success, you actually may be playing up 4A, 5A, or 6A in volleyball, so to speak. And there were some things that our private schools had issues with that. For example, once you got competitive balance set, did you really need the multiplier? If you had a successful boys basketball team, why would you also have the girls play up? I mean, of course, some of that had to do with scheduling issues and things like that. But there were definite things that we were looking at when I came on board in July of 2024 in early conversations that we looked at that needed to be a continuation of that work. It's kind of an evolution. It was kind of an evolution. And you just have situations where when you're looking at competition, when schools look at things like being able to control your enrollment. If you're a private school, you have some control over the number of students that can enroll in your school. If you're a public school, you take every student that lives in your attendance zone. And those type things. Some of the restraints that are put on public schools that may not be on private schools. So those were always, civil conversations, not anti-private school or anti-public school, but just conversations that people had about, competition and making sure that we're keeping an eye on that. And I think once you get to ideas of other advantages that cannot be mitigated, I think it gave us an opportunity to look at could we alleviate some of the pains that the private schools are having with the multiplier and competitive balance, and could we alleviate some of the pains that public schools were having with those things. So this gives us an opportunity to do that, and like you said, it is a landmark decision, and we'll obviously do this for 2 years, and that's the great thing about reclassification. You do it every 2 years, and I think that that's what this association has proven throughout its history is to evolve. And I think with that, they've also protected things that you really wouldn't want to change, even as maybe society changes and other entities and maybe competitive groups above high school beyond amateur athletics. I think our association's done a good job of protecting really probably what is now the last level of amateur athletics. And that's really all we ask. We're a private association made up of member schools who choose to follow the rules. And that's all we ask is that we're just allowed to follow our processes and protect our member schools.
And we're talking to Heath Harmon, the executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And Coach, I was, was texting with some high school basketball coaches the last couple of days, and first of all, very excited, and I want to laud you and the association for getting the shot clock voted in.
Yay!
I think everybody is looking forward to that. I've been to other states, and I know you have as well, and played in events with a shot clock, and it's outstanding. And in the events I've been a part of, and even last year in the state of Alabama, I thought it went very smoothly. You can talk about that. And then the second part of the question, has there been any talk of a reseeding process, maybe a district format for playoffs basketball-wise, Coach?
Yeah, so there are some times where that comes up, the idea of districts, which is, really the terminology that'll be used is districts, areas, or regions. And so if you look at the way we do it in Alabama, really the only sport we have in regions, and of course we have some in sections, the only sport we have in regions is football. And so football, if you think about it, it is unique in the fact that the teams play in that 2-year reclassification. The team will play a home game 1 year, and that same school they'll play them away the next year. So you're traveling to that school once every 2 years. And so you're playing on a Friday night. Saturday is not a school day. So superintendents, principals, they like football being in regions because you have the travel is always going to be more in regions, but it's Friday night, it's one time every 2 years, and it's not impacting a school day the next day. When you get into your sports like basketball, volleyball, different things like that, those are in area play because you do play multiple times in a year, and you play on a school night. So the principals and superintendents are much more, in alignment with you wanting football in regions and the other sports in areas. Now, coaches, when they look at it, they tend to like the idea of doing regions or districts. And I think, prior to me being executive director, when some of those things have come up, it's been pretty obvious that the travel was pretty bad, pretty egregious. And so as those coaches have continued to work on that, they've tried to come up with plans that would maybe allow for some of those games to be played on a Friday night. I think one thing that it does is it pushes more meaningful games earlier in the season, which, again, is very popular with schools who maybe their basketball players don't play other sports. But when you talk to schools that won't get their football players or their volleyball players or whatever to basketball till a little later, it's a little tough on them when those meaningful games are pushed early. So I think it's pretty complex. I don't think it's just a simple discussion, but we're having that discussion. That's another example of our basketball committee bringing that data and information. That's the two things that they've probably been the most vocal about in my 2 years is the shot clock and the idea of district play. I would say that I agree with our superintendents and principals with the fact that area is much better on travel. We always look at that. We don't always get that right, but that's kind of a cornerstone of where we try to, when we classify, to look at travel. And we've always got to remember we're education-based athletics. We're an extension of the classroom, so we're trying to see the impact that it has on education, time out of the classroom, school nights, things like that.
Alabama High School Athletic Association Executive Director Heath Harmon with us this morning. And Mr. Harmon, got to ask you, too, one of the other big topics, and we talked about this last week, is that Alabama is one of 4 states that does not have high school NIL. I know you probably get talked. I know this is something that goes way beyond probably just coaches and athletics directors and superintendents, but this is probably, legislative wide. How many times have you been asked, and is this one of these things, is Alabama and will Alabama ever offer high school NIL?
So I would say when I came on board in July 2024, it was probably in the top 3 of things that were brought to my attention.
Yeah.
It has slowed down significantly. I think there's probably more, I'm oversimplifying that reason, but probably has a little bit to do with what's going on at the next level in college is really, I think everybody would agree, is a mess. And so I think that slowed down. I would just say that my commitment as executive director is I want to be the expert in what high school NIL even is. I made that statement about a year ago, and there was actually a news story that came out of it saying I was a proponent, which is not true. I'm just saying I don't need other people to be telling me what high school NIL is. I want to be the expert on it. And at that time, I just coming on as executive director, didn't know a lot about what the NIL looked like in the high school space. When you say we're the 4 states that don't have NIL, that's a little bit misleading because some of the states just renamed their amateur rule. So their amateur rule may be very similar to ours. They just renamed it. And so for me, I think it's very important that we protect pure amateur athletics. And so I do, as executive director, need to know what's happening nationally. That doesn't mean we need to do something just because everybody else is doing it. We need to do what's right for Alabama. But I'm pretty it's safe to say I'm pretty strongly anchored in a couple of things, and one of those is that we need to protect amateur athletics. We need to protect the fact that we're education-based athletics. I would imagine that what's going to happen at the next level would be athletic teams that are loosely connected to an educational institution, and that's not what we are. We are an extension of the classroom. We are heavily connected to the school and the educational mission. So it's very important to me that we protect pure amateur athletics.
And Coach, I was asked this morning. I wanted to forward a question. It's because baseball is winding down, and I was part of a great atmosphere last week with Hazel Green and Homewood. But going forward, now that we're going to the 2 private school classifications, AA and A, and then, of course, you'll still have 6 classifications. Is that going to affect the playoff format at all? I was asked, are they still going to have the top 2 teams, for example, in 6A in an area, make the playoffs, or is there a chance there could be 3 and then maybe the champion get a bye? Is that still under discussion? Is the playoff format going to change at all?
Yeah, so basically, 50% of our teams typically make the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
We are going to a different format for our largest classification, public school classification in football. That'll go into effect next year. And we did set all of our private school championship pathways around that 50% model. However, we are meeting with our private school. We've met with our private school advisory committee. We are meeting with we have a classification committee, which is going to be restructured, but we meet with them early June, and we're going to talk about those things specifically with the private school, how they were classified and what that looks like. And every class will have the same championship experience as far as the same venue at the same time, those type things. Some of our the way we've got set up, some will require additional day, some will not. But we want it to be that same experience. But we are looking at some areas where if that 50% threshold doesn't make sense, we want to look at it and see if we may need to do something different.
Well, still plenty to go over, plenty to talk about. 3 more blue maps still left to hand out. You got golf, softball, and baseball still left out there to play. So still plenty of season left, but it's all winding down.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got golf going on right now, regional softball, baseball playoffs, and all that wraps up on the 21st and 22nd with baseball and softball, and a very exciting times. And that's really the awesome times when you're able to go out and watch the kids compete, and the championship teams, they're obviously talented and they have they're very well coached, and they're obviously playing really well at that time to advance through whatever the playoff structure looks like. So you get to see the best teams, really well coached, playing at their best. And so, of course, soccer was another example of that. But we have so many great things going on in our state, and I'm so proud of our schools, our communities, our coaches. They really, athletics brings people together. They rally around those teams, and you have young people in a time of their life where they probably need more support than any other time, and athletics provides that opportunity for another layer of support in addition to their parents and their teachers with their coaches and their communities. And education-based athletics is really important. We've got to protect it. We've got to make sure people understand what it is and what the purpose is of high school athletic associations. The reason high school athletic associations exist is to govern championship play. Now, we do a lot of things other than that.
Yeah.
But the reason that they exist, it's just like that first time you go out to play at a yard, probably when you're not even middle school age yet, and you decide that the tree is going to be out of bounds. So you know how long that lasted, right? Until somebody didn't need the tree to be out of bounds. And we don't change as adults. We still would, if not governed, we would probably be trying to change where that tree was or where it was out of bounds.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that high school athletic associations exist. It would be chaos if we didn't have high school athletic associations. And can't say thank you enough to our central board. It's a thankless job. They have to make really tough decisions, but they are absolutely committed to that. And our legislative council, who just met this past April, their commitment, can't say thank you enough. And to our principals, the way we're set up, our all accountability is on the principal, and we're asking more and more and more in education, not just athletics, but in education of our principals. They have a lot on their plate, and they do have the accountability when it comes to athletics. So I'm very thankful for them and the job that they do.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. We know you have a very busy schedule and meetings coming up, but we look forward to continuing to foster the relationship, the continued success. I know you're nearly 2 years in. Time flies, but we really appreciate the conversation, and we look forward to featuring you again in the near future. But thank you, and another good year almost done in athletics and the AHSAA. Job well done, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Heath Harmon, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, kind enough to spend some extended time with us.
Yes, sir.
Boy, a lot to talk about there.
I mean, and again, there's so much you'd like to broach, but
yes,
there's only so much. And he's got a very, very busy schedule. We're going to continue to look at these issues and look at how I'm really fascinated to see how this split goes.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I wasn't for it. I thought they should have kept going with the status quo, kind of with the private and the public schools competing against each other. But this is going to be interesting because they do it in other states, and it works. It works in the state of Tennessee, one of the few things that does. But we'll see.
And they've been doing it for a while up there.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's not.
They really have that. And our good friend Andy Blackston's at Brentwood Academy now, and had a lot of success at Madison Academy, and so we'll see.
All right, let's get a break in, shall we? Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. Some of us probably going to see the low 80s. We drop into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. A passing shower is going to be possible on Wednesday. Otherwise, a mostly sunny sky and temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. We drop into the low 50s Wednesday night, early Thursday morning.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just picked up another accident. This is going to be eastbound, Highway 72 in Madison at Lawson's Ridge. Now, if you're not familiar with that, Lawson's Ridge is between Wall-Triana and Hughes Road, so that's going to slow you down quite a bit if you're heading in from that direction. No report of any injuries, but we were told that Madison Police is en route to that scene. Everything else in the valley is looking pretty good. We don't have any delays on 565 right now, and you're looking good up over the mountain coming in from Highway 72 in that direction up over Chapman Mountain, and then Governor's Drive looking good, 431, and it doesn't slow down until you get into the medical district, and then it's just bumper to bumper with a lot of traffic lights. From the peak of the roof to the bottom of the foundation, the electrical, the plumbing, and everything in between. gives you a lot to worry about when you're buying a home. Protect yourself when you're making the biggest investment of your life. Call Cruise Home Inspection and get that peace of mind. 256-529-4207. 256-529-4027. From the Rock Creek Production Studios, the most accurate traffic report in the Tennessee Valley, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. Taking care of your property yourself can be a real headache. Eagle can handle it for you. They offer full landscaping services, irrigation, mowing, bush hog, and can install plants and trees, sod, and even landscape borders. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Our good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Leighton Ford, and you know what you never find at Lynn Leighton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that could be $600, $700, or $800. A dock fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. At Lynn Leighton, the price you see advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Leighton way. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease options, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. And believe me, it's worth the short ride over to the Beltline in Decatur to see what Lynn Leighton Ford has to offer. And what you see on that window sticker is what you will get without the hidden mystery fees. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton Ford. Find them on the Beltline.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Big thank you to Heath Harmon, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, for joining us there in that little extended conversation. I thought it was funny how he said that, you know, it's kind of misleading that the state of Alabama is one of only 4 states that doesn't offer high school NIL.
Yeah.
Kind of misleading because other ones just kind of reclassified their amateurism status.
Well, I just think there should be some legislation passed federally where you can't get it till you're 18 years old. I mean, because that way you're basically graduating high school or about to graduate, and you're turning into a collegiate athlete. And then again, they should cap it in on the college level.
Right.
I don't mind them getting paid at all. But, making, $6 to $10 million is ridiculous. I mean, that's not what I've always, going back 30 years, wanted collegiate athletes to be compensated, but $10 million a year, I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous. You're going to end up bankrupting folks after a while. And, Arkansas having to drop men's and women's tennis, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And it wasn't, and of course it was not really, it wasn't NIL related, but
right.
You look at UAH, they had to drop it a few years ago. And it's just sad anytime you have to drop a sport and take away opportunities, from young people to get, an education.
Do you think if high schools offered NIL, that would ever happen on the high school level?
What, dropping sports?
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, all that would be, that's not going to happen. That would just be, if you offered NIL, it's just going to be paid by boosters or whatever of a certain sport. And then I don't know, it might, as far as the compensation and the competitive balance, it might alter that because, because smaller schools would have a hard time competing with it because, they just don't have the resources.
Right.
And that's why I just don't think. And again, when you're talking about a kid growing up, I don't think that's something that, certainly I just don't think that's something that they should be able to earn money off of when they're 13, they're growing up. Their families provide their home. Their mother and father, their parental unit or whoever their that adult in their lives is the one that's raising them and providing for them. I just don't think they should be able to you don't really have, to me, when you get older and you mature is when you start as an athlete and as a person and even as a student. That's when you should start being able to profit off your name, image, and likeness, but not in high school.
Right.
High school is still the formative years, in my opinion.
256-576-4977. You can join the program, react to anything that you heard there with the Heath Harmon interview. You know what, though? When you asked him about the shot clock and then you asked him about that, he never answered the shot clock question. He never got back to the shot clock question.
I was just lauding him on that, really. So it really didn't need to be answered because, again, it's been voted in. We've used it, periodically last year in the state. It worked. I've been to other events, as I said before, I was asking the questions where in other states where in tournaments where you had the shot clock every game and it was awesome. And then we've had it a lot in the summers. So I think it's going to be great. I'm
just laughing at the fact that Indiana did not pass it this past go around about a month ago or a couple weeks ago. Indiana did not pass it in their high school athletic association, and because they want to stay with tradition in Indiana. And I don't know. I find that kind of funny.
Purdue certainly has got a good program. Does Indiana?
No.
That's what I thought.
On the high school,
they're a football school.
They still play the one school's championship there in Indiana.
Yeah, and that is unique.
It is unique.
And it is traditional. And but Indiana hasn't really changed with the times as far as in the Big Ten. They can't seem to figure it out. So
well, we've got a lot to figure out. We've got a lot still left to talk about on the show. Coming up at the top of the hour, Alex Scarborough is going to join us. David Kindred will join us at the bottom of the 8:30, and a lot to talk about. But I tell you what, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to set the table up for Alex Scarborough at the top of the hour.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Our good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Layton Ford, and you know what you never find at Lynn Layton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that could be $600, $700, or $800. A dock fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. At Lynn Layton, the price you see advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Layton way. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Layton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease options, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. And believe me, it's worth the short ride over to the Beltline in Decatur to see what Lynn Layton Ford has to offer. And what you see on that window sticker is what you will get without the hidden mystery fees. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Layton Ford. Find them on the Beltline.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
So Greg Sankey obviously was in Birmingham yesterday because that's where the SEC offices reside. Right across the street from the SEC offices is the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, literally across the street.
Yep.
Greg Sankey visited with reporters yesterday there at the Alabama the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame for another event. But he did visit with the media and kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it was his intentions, but he really opened up on the college football expansion, conference championships, and the football calendar. Opened up on all of it.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'm looking forward to talking with Alex Scarborough about. We haven't spoken with him since Alabama wrapped up spring practice on April the 11th, about a month ago. It's hard to believe it's already been that. Well, and actually, let me correct myself. That was the A-Day game. Then they had 2 practices the next week.
Yeah.
But we have not spoken to Alex Scarborough. We can get his thoughts on what Commissioner Sankey said, including dealing with the basketball situation with Nate Oates in Alabama. So, I'm going to be interested to hear Alex's thoughts on it.
Yeah, he talked about the playoff size, 16 or 24. He talked about whether or not the SEC championship game, the future of the SEC championship game.
I think he wants to keep, but it seems to me that he's more of a 16-team guy. But
yeah, well, no, he is. And
he
said as far as the SEC championship game goes, if the model changes, we'll have to answer questions differently. Says it's not dead. It's just they don't know yet on the SEC championship game. Question is, will the coaches and the athletic director support a 2014 playoff in the SEC? And will Greg Sankey have to yield to the Big Ten as far as the playoffs go? The SEC still holds the cards. Just how big is his card? Alex Scarborough's next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Atlanta Braves today hosting the Chicago Cubs, game one of a 3-game set. The Cubs will send out Colin Ray, 4-1, a 4.03 ERA. Grant Holmes for the Braves. The total is 8, shaded to the over at Truist Park. College baseball today, the Auburn Tigers laying $1.95 at Jacksonville State. Troy $1.25 favorite at UAB, minus 105. In North Alabama and Murray State will meet. Both teams open minus 115 on the money line. Scotty Scheffler, the plus 380 favorite, doing the 108th PGA Championship at the Aronimink Golf Club outside of Philadelphia. Rory McIlroy plus 910. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing a bunch of care that improves your lives. SportsMedAlabama.com, 256-881-5151 to experience that sports med difference. Find them online. Give them a call today. They can help you out. They are the official medical providers for the Rocket City Trash Pandas, which have a home right here. Talk Radio WZZN and 97.7 ESPN, The Zone all season long. Trash Pandas begin a 6-game homestand with the Lookouts beginning tonight, 6:05 first pitch, Toyota Field. We mentioned going to break to end hour number 1. Greg Sankey walked across the street, met with reporters yesterday at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Plenty to talk about there. College football expansion, conference championships, football calendar. I mean, we talk about the SEC still holding some of the cards when it comes to the playoffs, the Big Ten trying to take control of everything, but the SEC still has a little bit of say in how things are done.
Yeah, it does. No question about it. And our next guest was there and caught up with Greg Sankey. He also covered spring practice for Kalen DeBoer, and I know he spoke with him before the end of spring and really right before it in March. And then, of course, he was there at A-Day, and then they had 2 practices after that. And it's going to be an interesting rest of the summer for the University of Alabama, no doubt. And one of the stories coming out yesterday, and we've had him on the show. He does a great job, but Nick Rouse of On3 for Kentucky is predicting the Wildcats to beat Alabama in Lexington. I guess Jeff from the Borough got to him. But certainly we're going to talk some Bama now and Greg Sankey in the SEC with our next guest. He's as well connected as there is, and that's Bama 247's Alex Scarborough. Alex, welcome back to the show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're doing good. Well. And what was your immediate takes from Greg Sankey yesterday? Because he hasn't really spoken on the record a lot lately, so you guys had a chance to sit down with him. What was your thoughts?
Well, Greg's always, by nature of the job, a little bit cagey. I think is kind of one way of putting it. He wants to keep his cards close to the vest. He knows anything he says has the potential to make news and influence other people, so he's very careful. Mm-hmm. But I will say I was a little bit surprised, might be the word, at how, I don't know if defensive is what I would say, but just a little bit, a little miffed, I think, at some of the stuff that's been happening recently. And it's not necessarily just, playoff expansion. That's the one thing everybody wants to talk about. But I think he took a lot of issue with the AHSAA's statement the other week about expanding the playoff and changes to the calendar and all of these things that he sees a lot of kind of holes in, and didn't really appreciate the fact that all of this was laid out by an organization, and Craig Bowl in particular. Look, he said Craig Bowl's name. He's the executive director. I like Craig a lot. But he said, look, you got my number. I talked to you 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you call me before you put all this stuff out that now I'm having to answer for? And we didn't get the opportunity to talk through all of these things. So I just got the sense that he was in a little bit of a mood. And look, you got a lot to juggle in that job. There's always some fire you're having to put out or some, hypothetical you're having to answer for. But yeah, he was a little bit testy at times, especially when it came to, what these hypothetical situations and how they really, how does the potential for playoff expansion affect the calendar? How does it affect, the conference championships? All of those things. It was an interesting hour-long conversation. I'm glad we got to have it. I appreciate Greg making the time, but it was an interesting back and forth. I'll say that.
What did you think about his reaction? Because I'll be honest, I think this is the first time you guys, when sat down with him, we've seen him answer and be asked about the Nate Oates situation and the G League and Bediako.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a winding answer, and again,
I thought he went around it
what
too.
I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
He's trying to be very careful. He I think sees a distinction in terms of not wanting to get involved before the NCAA has given a ruling on something. So he's like, I'm not going to say anything. Whereas with Bediako, there was a ruling that he was ineligible, and then it went to a court. So he felt he needed to get involved in that one. I think he does, and he said it, and he's probably said it repeatedly. I think he understands a lot of where Alabama and Nate Oates are coming from. He understands that there's a little bit of, well, you can do this, but I can't do that thing going on, and drawing certain lines in the sand as it relates to professionals and what that means, whether it's, G League and you signed a contract versus you played in Euro League, and what does that mean? Is that a distinction without a difference kind of thing? But as he said, look, he also understands, like, these are coaches. They're competitive. When they see a line in the sand, they're going to want to push it. But it's up to him, I think, I don't know if he said this flat out, but he's talked about it before. He's got to look out for the health of the whole conference. And I think he's very worried, like a lot of people are, that there are these blurred lines around eligibility, and some lines he thinks cannot be crossed. So this was the issue he chose to weigh in on. He understands that it's really hard to navigate right now. He really wants the NCAA to figure all this out. But in the meantime, he dipped his toe into this one. I know Alabama fans, a lot of them are taking issue with that. But this is the case he went for. I'm sorry I can't quote him completely, because it did kind of ramble all over the place a little bit. And that's sort of what he's sort of good at in terms of not making a soundbite. But that was sort of the gist of what I got from sort of listening into it.
As far as the SEC championship game goes in football, I mean, that's one of those things, and reading his comments and everything, that's one of those things where we're not going to get an answer on, I don't think, until we figure out the future of the playoffs. Is that right?
I don't think he's going to tell you what he wants to do until he has to. Is how I would say that. I think him, along with every conference commissioner, wants to keep a conference championship game. And look, this is not me, making a moral judgment. This is very simple. That is a moneymaker for every conference. It's the one thing they own, are conference championships, and they've got these massive contracts. Unfortunately, they're not public, so we can't tell you all the details of them. But you can rest assured they are massive contracts with ESPN and these broadcast partners, and let alone, the ticket sales and all of those things that go into it, that they don't want to lose. And until he is told that, hey, playoff expansion's really happening, I don't think that's a bridge he's ready to cross. And in fact, as we see momentum build towards an expansion of the playoff, whether that's 16 or 24 or there's 16 and then 24, it feels inevitable. I think he still wants to see if he can get this done. That's why he said, he was asked point blank, like, you hear all these coaches talking about why the conference championship game needs to leave. Are you swayed by that? Has your opinion changed? He said, no. And one of that is, part of that is, like, there's this fear of the unknown. And he brought up, well, you're saying that coaches are saying we won't be able to win national championships because we have to compete in a conference championship. Guess what? In 1992, when Mike Slive created this thing, it was the same exact thing. You could argue a lot has changed since then, and maybe that opinion doesn't hold true. And then there's the contract piece of it, where he's like, look, we're obligated to do these games. And that's why, personally, I wanted to sort of drill down on that and ask him, just because it's a contract for a game, does it have to be the 1 and 2 seeds? Or can you create a play-in sort of game where bubble teams can play in Atlanta, say the 4 or 5 seed in the conference, and play their way in and build their resume? And he sort of sidestepped it and said, look, it's termed a conference championship. There would have to be some sort of language put in. So he didn't really answer, and then he didn't really answer how long the contract is, because, again, what I said at the top, Greg Sankey's very good at his job, and part of his job is being a little bit cagey. So I think he wants a conference championship to stay. Will it become inevitable at some point that it goes away? Personally, yes, I think so. I've been pretty outspoken in the fact that I think it needs to go away, and it should have gone away already. But there's a lot of money at stake, and there's a lot of complicating factors that Sankey and all these commissioners sort of have to navigate.
Gosh, it sets up for a fantastic spring meeting, does it not?
Oh, yeah. Between playoff expansion, conference championships, eligibility, the last question I asked him was about tampering. Like, all these, that's the one thing that affects coaches on a daily basis.
Right.
And that's all, besides all the other administrative things they have to deal with. It's going to be interesting for those folks down in Destin.
It is going to be. And I will say this. I mean, people, and of course, I grew up for most of my childhood into going into high school without a conference championship game, and everybody was perfectly fine for a long time with a regular season champion, and that being the factor in not playing a quote unquote SEC title game, which was a playoff game, so to speak. But I guess that's Roy Kramer's legacy. It did work, but sometimes it comes full circle, and then now we have a full blown college football playoff. It may be, like you said, Alex, that these conference championship games, and I'm talking about college football wide, disappear. And if they do, I think it's inevitable it's going to be a 2014 playoff.
Yeah, I agree with you. And look, that's the thing I've said and written multiple times. I think we all have a collective short memory sometimes. There's this notion that conference championship games are sanctified and that they're historical and you can't touch them. And it's like, oh, by the way, they've only been around for like 30-something years.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an invention. And it was a great invention. And there's a reason that when the SEC did it, everybody said, hold on, we're doing that. Because it made a world of sense when only two teams could play for a national championship.
Yes.
The moment that changed, everything changed along with it. And we've just seen it's gotten to the point where the two teams playing more often than not, it seems like, it's a lose-lose situation. Like or I should say, it's a no-win situation for the teams competing if it's the 1 and 2 seeds. Like, what was Georgia's motivation? What were they? They beat the brakes off of Alabama, and they got the revenge. But like, were they really thinking, man, we got to win this game?
Yeah.
Like, Kirby can sell ice to an Eskimo, but like, it's different, and you need to acknowledge that. And that's why I think the idea of a play-in sort of game makes more sense, so you can keep that product and you can satisfy your television partners. And, oh, by the way, you can maybe even sneak another team into a playoff scenario by building their resume with an extra game. Will that work? I don't know if the NCAA will agree to it, if they agree for an extra game, even though it's not a championship. Maybe they won't go for it. But I think the expansion piece of it, even at 12 teams, I think it's necessary to end it now. But I think if you go 16 or 24, then it gets even more like, what are we even doing here? And that's why I think Sankey's, on the 16 or 24 thing, has made his stance definitively clear. He's at 16 and I don't think he even wants to talk about 24 until we see what 16 looks like.
Alex Scarborough, kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Plenty to talk about. I mean, we could talk about all of that all day long. But Alex, let's slip in. Alabama's wrapped up spring practice. Kalen DeBoer, plenty to talk about there with Alabama football expectations. Will they be one of the 12? Could they be one of the 12 teams getting into the playoffs this next year? A lot of questions with this Alabama football team.
Absolutely. And look, I think you can watch Alabama, whether that was at 8A or just simply looking at their roster, and sort of understand what might make or break this team. As much as we're going to talk about the quarterback position, and I think that's hugely important, I don't think it's necessarily the defining thing when you look at the skill that Alabama's going to have at the skill positions on offense and on defense as well. I think it's how well does that offensive line hold up to protect whoever's back there? How much can that offensive line create a running game? I think it starts there. I think that's what every fan wants to see. And I think it's very important, especially with a completely revamped offensive line. You return one starter, and, oh, by the way, that one starter, Michael Carroll, not only was a true freshman last year who started 6 games, he's now going to be playing a different position. It looks like guard instead of tackle. So you've got all these moving parts. And, I'll be honest, I was at 8A and I was not impressed with the offensive line. It worries me a lot for Alabama's sake and whether they can play for a playoff. So I think there's some confidence in that building, that they've got the pieces in place. They've just got to get them gelled together. They got to get certain guys like William Sanders, who was out for the spring, to play that left guard spot healthy. You figure those things out, I think the rest can fall into place. Then you figure out the quarterback position, and then you go out there and you play ball. So it's an interesting year for Alabama in that they've got these big question marks, but I do think there is certainly a path towards success. Now, how we define what, quote, expectations are, I think that's up for everybody to sort of decide, because I think that's a really wide berth between what some folks are going to say and what others are going to say in terms of, do you got to play for get in the playoffs? Do you have to win X number of games? Do you have to compete for a national championship? It's going to be, I'm going to be very curious to see how people sort of measure that up, but that's obviously an issue for way down the road.
And then how big a factor do you think this injury for Noah Rogers could be, or do you think it's something that Alabama can navigate?
It's something they can navigate, but it's also a big deal. Like, look, they thought he was going to be a really big playmaker. They thought that, essentially it's not really a trade because they didn't go to the same place, but losing Isaiah Horton for Noah Rogers, they thought they had the chance to upgrade.
Yeah.
Not a huge knock on Isaiah Horton. We all saw what he did in the Iron Bowl, but he didn't really turn out to be the explosive sort of player they thought he could be. He didn't show that burst to really stretch a defense, and they thought Noah Rogers could be that guy. And what they saw in the spring showed them even more that, hey, this guy's got the potential. I think there was no question he was going to start before the injury. So it is a big deal. But at the same time, look, there's some talent at that position. It's not just Ryan Williams. We all know what he's capable of if the light's on for him. Latsier Brooks obviously showed a ton as a true freshman a year ago. So what can he be in year two? But I think A-Day, if you want to go back to that, not the end-all be-all, but two of the brightest spots on that team, I thought, were Derek Meadows and Sedarian Morgan. Two really big young receivers who made plays out there and looked like they could be relied on from the quarterback. So I think you've got options there. You throw Rico Scott in there as well. There's depth. I think you've got to cobble together a little bit more that wide receiver 3 spot with Noah Rogers out. But to me, on the list of like things that I think can keep Alabama from a national championship, I don't think Noah Rogers' absence is anywhere near the top 5.
Wow.
And then I know he was injured for much of the spring, but if he's healthy, and Coach went on the record with you guys and said they expect him back by June, how big an impact guy can Crowell be in your mind in the backfield? We already saw his counterpart, Brown. I thought he looked outstanding in the spring, but Crowell is a Mr. Football 5-star. How big an impact could he make?
I think he can make an instant impact. I don't think it was a coincidence. Look, Ryan Grubb's a lot more quick to make a quote offensive coordinator than Kalen DeBoer. I think we've sort of established that. But if you look at sort of the way he talked about Crowell before the spring, you could tell there's a lot of excitement there. He said the sky's the limit. You're not going to have to wait long for this guy to play. All of these things. There's an understanding that this guy was a 5-star talent for a reason. And look, I don't attend many high school football games anymore. I wish I could, but I've got a kid. But I went to Protective Stadium to watch Jackson in that state championship game in December, I guess it was.
Yes.
And I watched him go against, again, so a team competing for a state championship, and EJ Crowell ran for over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, I walked away from that going, yeah, that's a dude. Like, that's a guy who can play right away. He's got the speed, and that's the thing I think that has stood out most to this coaching staff is, oh, man, like, it translates. You clock 21, 22 miles an hour out there as a running back. That's really good. And then you have the physicality to go along with it. So, look, I think he can go in there, and I think he can make plays. Him being out for the spring is obviously a setback, and he's going to have an uphill hill to climb. He's got to, compete with guys like Daniel Hill, who I thought looked pretty good at 8A in certain moments in terms of having more explosiveness. Kevin Riley, who's got some time in the system, and obviously Trayshawn Brown, who you referred to. I think it's still a little early on him, but there's a lot to like there as a 3-star guy who I think kind of does a lot of the similar stuff Kevin Riley does, but it maybe a little bit more pop to him.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's going to be more productive, but I think he's a guy to watch. I think Crowell is a guy who, if Alabama gets where it wants to go, I think he's going to be a big part of it. That's kind of how I would look at it.
Well, Alex Scarborough.
Wow. A lot of good stuff.
Yep, Bama 247. Let everybody know how to follow you, and we really appreciate the conversation. We look forward to seeing you just in a blink of an eye in Tampa.
Yeah, you can go to Twitter or I guess it's X now.
Yeah.
I'm so far behind the times. By Scarborough, but it's just a whole lot easier. Just go to Bama247.com on your browsers, on your phone, whatever you got, and you can read my stuff. Mike Rodak does a good job with me covering the team. Brett Greenberg does a great job on the recruiting side. Pretty sure we've got a sale going on right now. You can be part of the message board. And I know football's not going on right now, but we're going to have football we're going to have it every single day. So we're going to be talking about it, and everybody can go there and join the conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Let's get a break in, shall we? Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we love baseball almost as much as we love serving up the best and baddest burgers around. People have called our burgers totally insane. And at Bad Daddy's, we take that as a compliment. But it's not just burgers. Up first, starters like our fried pickles, wings, or poblano frites. Second, try one of Bad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Before you build, know the ground beneath you. OMI Incorporated has been North Alabama's trusted name in geotechnical engineering for over 30 years. We provide subsurface investigations, environmental consulting, and construction materials testing to keep your project moving forward with confidence. Commercial, industrial, and public projects, OMI has the experience to get it right. OMI Incorporated. Experience below the surface. Visit omi-eng.com. or call 256-837-7664.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
8:25 here on a Tuesday morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We invite you to head to your app store or marketplace. Download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today so you can have us 24/7. 256-576-4977. That's how you can find us here this morning. I'll talk a little SEC baseball coming up here in just a few minutes. David Kindred will join us as Alabama has that series with Ole Miss coming up.
Not at stake because they've had 2 back-to-back sweeps. And then they got it done in South Carolina, which was huge, especially after letting that game get away from them at Troy. I thought they needed a 3-1 week to put themselves in position to potentially be a host, and they got it done by sweeping South Carolina. Got a little hairy on Sunday, but they got it done. And now everybody this week playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday to set up Hoover, and they play the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss has a lot at stake. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
The standings are just absolutely a log jam, but Alabama still with a shot, and Auburn as well, to be in those top 4 and get the buys and going to Hoover.
The one thing we're seeing this week across college baseball, and the NCAA via an email on May 6th put this out to all of their head baseball coaches. They sent a memo. I guess you could call an email a memo. I mean, this was back in the day. This would be a fax memo that you would get telling them that they are very concerned with the practice of canceling regular season games for reasons other than inclement weather.
Yeah.
And this is a week where you're seeing a lot of teams. Kentucky now Kentucky did this. Kentucky was supposed to play Northern Kentucky, I believe, today.
Okay. Yep.
They have canceled that game because Kentucky says over this past weekend they had a long weather delay and some weather delays that they had to finish up on Sunday early. Didn't quite get a lot of rest, so they canceled their midweek game with Northern Kentucky. Other places are doing this, but the point of this is the NCAA has said, hey, look, we're going to keep all of this in mind. We're going to keep a watchful eye on schedules. During the subcommittee's objective evaluation of teams, games canceled to avoid the impact on mathematical metrics will be discussed and could have a negative impact on the subcommittee's evaluation of a team.
We all know why Jeff from the Borough canceled the game, because they're 12-15 in the league, and they didn't want to threaten getting their ass beat by Northern Kentucky in their own state and putting another bad loss on their resume. That's why Kentucky canceled the game. It wasn't because they were tired. It's because they're scared of getting their ass beat. That's why they did it.
Kentucky issued a statement saying our team has faced multiple extended delays over the weekend and extensive travel days and challenging rest and recovery periods. We play a critically important conference series beginning Thursday that demands...
Translation, we got to win the games. If we don't, we may be fired. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think Mingione will get fired, but look, if they don't win the series, if they don't take 2 out of 3 and then probably win a game in Hoover, they're in trouble, okay? And they know it. That's why they canceled it. I mean, I'll be honest, if they don't win this series because they dropped another one to Florida,
right?
They haven't been swept all year, but if they do not win this series, I don't know if it matters what they do unless they get deep into Hoover.
But should it
even... And anybody could, considering that, it's a one done, it's not double elimination, but Kentucky has not exactly torn things up the second half of the conference schedule.
Should the NCAA, a lot of people are saying, well, you know what? The NCAA uses this dumb math, which punishes weaker non-conference games, which punishes you for losing these weaker non-conference games. Should they use that math at all?
Well, I think that these teams, if you schedule a damn game and it's not because of weather, then you should play the damn game.
Right.
I can't help it if you didn't recruit well enough and you suck. That's your fault.
Figure out a way to set it up, because now Auburn is playing. I believe Auburn is. I don't think Alabama has a midweek game, right?
Alabama got done when Troy beat their, and did Alabama waller in it when they got their ass beat by Troy for the first time since 2019? No, they got their heads out of their rectums and they went and they beat and they swept South Carolina.
Damn near killed them.
Yeah, and so Jack State, really good team this year, is playing Auburn. And our good friend Brian Matthews is traveling to Jack State tonight to see that game. It'll be a road game.
Auburn has a critical series this weekend. They didn't cancel the Jack State game.
Yeah, they did not cancel it because of Georgia. coming to town, and the zoo's going to be there.
Oh.
In other words, stop being a bunch of pansy asses. And then, of course, it doesn't take Kentucky long to get confident. I love Nick Roush, but he's already putting bulletin board material that Kentucky's beating Alabama in football. You know, they've done it so many times in their storied history, beating the University of Alabama in football, you know.
Oh, anyway, we gotta let's get that break in because when we come back,
Tim Couch ain't walking through that door.
No, he's not. The hefty lefty's not coming through either.
No.
Got to get Jared Lorenzen. That's his name. Got to get a break in.
God rest his soul.
Yep. Okay, talk Alabama baseball next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. Some of us probably going to see the low 80s. We drop into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. A passing shower is going to be possible on Wednesday. Otherwise, a mostly sunny sky and temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. We drop into the low 50s Wednesday night, early Thursday morning.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Spend my dollar. Park in a holler, neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight. Make a little loving
Alabama, by the way, I believe it was this past weekend, was on stage at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater in Birmingham. Yeah, they had a show there in Birmingham over the weekend. I believe it was Saturday. Had some friends, I believe, attend that one. Anyway, Alabama baseball back on the diamond. Successful few weeks for the Crimson Tide. Have vaulted them up the standings. But as we were talking about yesterday with Jason Caldwell, and he said, hey, look, this SEC schedule, this SEC standings are so crazy that you can be a half a game out of first, but you can also be a game from being ninth. And it's just Alabama falls in to that category going into this Ole Miss series.
Yeah, and they've got a lot at stake, and they've put themselves back in position, even with, the frustration last week in the midweek with Troy. I thought they showed great resiliency, and even more so with arguably their two best players in Brady Neal and Justin LeBron out for the majority of that series against South Carolina, and yet they get it done and sweep them in Columbia for the first time ever, and the first time they've swept the Gamecocks in a season since 2001. Our next guest, he knows the University of Alabama and Ole Miss as well as anyone. He played at both institutions during his playing career, as well as with a stop in between at Shelton State. He now does an outstanding job for the Crimson Tide Sports Network and the SEC Network. And we're talking about David Kindred, and he's been kind enough to join us and talk some Bama Ole Miss on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, you're with Drew and Scott. How are you this morning?
Good morning, guys. Glad to be on last weekend of SEC baseball. I can't believe it.
Yeah, regular season. It's really kind of flown by. But even with all the ups and the downs and Alabama's defensive issues, and I still think it's their biggest weakness. I think their biggest strength has been their consistency in starting pitching. Certainly, the offense has kind of been hit or miss, but I think it's really starting to round into form with the rapid development of Eric Hines. But I wanted to ask you about that sweep against South Carolina. I thought it was really key after that loss to Troy, because they've had a few midweek losses, unlike last year. But right now, if you look at their RPI, you look at their metrics, and then with the chance to put themselves in position to have an easier road in the SEC tournament, I thought this sweep was huge in Columbia this past weekend.
It was huge, and coming off of last weekend when we talked of sweeping Vanderbilt at the house, Alabama goes on the road after dropping a game on Tuesday and handles their business in Founders Park against to say the least, a scuffling South Carolina team, and really a program that has a lot of success in years past. The Paul Mainieri project did not work out well. They decided to cut ties with him early on in SEC play, and Monty Lee, the interim head coach, is trying to keep this team together. And if you watch the series, they have some good arms. They have some good bats. They just really can't. Defensively, they made a lot of errors. The starting pitching for them was just not at the same place where the elite SEC rotations are. But yes, to your point, Tyler Fay goes out and does what he has done week in and week out, going 7 innings strong. And Alabama, started out early, put up a 4 spot in the second inning, some home runs by Luke Vaughn on Friday as well. On Friday. And Justin LeBron hitting a 3-run home run to really getting Alabama going quickly. However, Justin LeBron goes down, a hard ground ball to third baseman. At South Carolina defender grabbed it, threw it to first base, called the first baseman to go up the line to catch the ball and apply the tag. That tag applied to Justin LeBron's head. A really awkward collision caused him to be down on the ground for around 5 minutes. He stayed in and ran, but they ended up taking him out for, I think, concussion protocol reasons, and ended up not having him the rest of the weekend. But the pack mentality that Coach Rob Vaughn talks about, guys stepping up when your main guy like Justin LeBron goes down, like JoJo Williamson, platooned, and also got his first hit and first home run in Game 2. And Peyton's still starting to swing the bat a little bit better, putting some good at-bats together. They need Luke Vaughn to really start to be offensive, which he showed that. You also talked about Eric Hines. Eric Hines now really been thrust into the middle of the lineup. And we talked about Justin LeBron being out. Brady Neal was out. He got knocked out of the game early in game 2. Will Plattner, the captain of the club, came in a platoon situation and gave himself 3 hits. So it's really good to see. Yes, offensively, Alabama has had their struggles, no doubt. However, it's really, you're thinking that Alabama, if they can keep the pitching core together, that offensively they still have not hit their stride. And if they ever do hit their stride, good grief, they're going to be a dangerous team in postseason play. Is there somebody outside of the names you've mentioned that these last 2 sweeps that Alabama's had, Vanderbilt and South Carolina, that you can say, well, you know what, they came in a little cold, they came in a little but now they're feeling good. Now they're starting to warm up a little bit. Kind of count on them when maybe earlier in the year they were just kind of like hoping that they could get it going. Yeah. So the way I envision this, do you see, if you look up and down Alabama's schedule throughout the year, they've swept a lot of teams. They swept teams like Auburn, who's got a phenomenal RPI in the national hosting conversation. They've swept Florida. They have also been swept by Arkansas. And then, we talked about late in the year they're rebounding, and now they got a good sweep of Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Now, Vanderbilt and South Carolina are perennial, really, really good teams in the past. Not very good this year. But what tells me this team is mature is when they got their throat, got their foot on their throat after winning 2 games and go ahead and getting the series sweep, whether you could have let off the gas and then probably dropped a game and then been happy with the series road win at South Carolina. That tells me a lot about the maturity. Hopefully this team is starting to hit their stride. But, the reality, and I said it last week, and it's not going to change, is it all starts with the starting pitching in Tyler Fay, Zane Adams, and Miles Upchurch. And Miles Upchurch probably had one of his better starts on Sunday, too, against South Carolina. So I'm really pleased with the way Alabama's pitching it. Now, the only thing, the starting rotation is really good. There's been a lot of questions of back-end guys of, who's going to close out the games. And it's really Matt Heiberger, the left-hander, and Hagen Banks, the closer, and piecing it together with maybe guys like Sam Mitchell, and, a guy like Ashton Crowther, who's a transfer from South Carolina. That's really the pieces that you have when the game is hot. So Alabama's got to stay in games for them to give themselves a conversation of winning the games, but they're placing themselves in a really good position with 16 SEC wins at this point. Now going into the Ole Miss weekend, currently, and it's still got to play out, they're the number 4 in the SEC standings right now, which means going into the SEC tournament, they have a double bye, would not have to play till Thursday, which is big.
Yeah, and I think if they get now, and I think they can secure that. Now, certainly Auburn could sweep Georgia. I wouldn't count on that. I think whoever wins that series will win 2 out of 3. I think both teams are too good for one of the two to get swept. But if Alabama can win this Ole Miss series at home, they've been really good at home. I think they're 21-5 at home, David. If they can get 2 out of 3 against Bianco's really good team, because Ole Miss is playing to try to host as well, I think Alabama's going to host. And then you even put yourself in the conversation with 18 SEC wins of being a top 8 national seed, which nobody's really talked about. But Alabama's metrics look strong.
Yeah, they passed the test with all the metrics. The RPI for Alabama inside the top 10. Last time I looked at it, they were at 6, according to Warren Nolan. So that's not a problem. The strength of schedule is at 4. And as all the prognosticators out there I've seen, I have looked at Kendall Rogers, who he's got a good pulse on college baseball. I trust his outlook on it. But yes, Alabama is right now, I believe, at 11 out of the 16 total host teams right now. So that's in a really good spot. I think no matter how anything plays out to this point, they're in a good place to get to host. Now, if they want to really solidify their place, like you just said, Drew, win the series against a good Ole Miss team that is improving. If you get 2 out of 3 and then win a game or 2, don't get embarrass yourself, I think you're in that national seed host. And all that, for all those listeners out there, there's 16 host sites, and 16 teams will host. However, if you can be inside the top 1 through 8, that means you host a regional, and if you win that regional, you automatically will host the super regional. So that just gives you a slight advantage, and home field advantage throughout postseason play is big in college baseball. You keep the routine. You don't have to travel. The seeding is just better throughout. So if Alabama can play their way into playing some really good baseball against a good Ole Miss team, Mike Bianco is really got their team going. They just took 2 out of 3 from Texas A&M, who's in having a really good improving year, and Texas A&M has to finish with Mississippi State. So a lot of things on the SEC schedule. It's going to be an exciting weekend starting on Thursday, guys. So a lot to play out.
Is there something that kind of worries you about the Rebels?
Their power, man. They got 90 bombs, I think, 89.
Yes. So Coach Bianco, almost 20 years ago when I was walking on the campus there, very old. He's an old school coach. I mean, he's the statesman. I mean, he's the longest tenured SEC baseball coach today. He's seen a lot of baseball. He's a Skip Bertman guy who he played for at LSU and also coached with. Jim Wells coached with him. So he's a very old school coach, and he's really changed his tune to today's type of offensive structure. To your point, a lot of home runs and a boatload of strikeouts offensively. It's not much of what you call a 2-strike approach with this club. They are trying to get their best swings off. They'll accept the strikeouts, but I think that's really it's a transition, because when I played 20 years ago, you might have had maybe 2 or 3 guys in the starting rotation that had elite velocity in the 93, 94 mile an hour range. Now every guy's got really good velocity along with secondary pitches that they can throw for strikes. So when you know that, it's hard to string together 3 base hits in an inning. The law of averages tell you that does not happen as much. So he has really bought into this, get your best swing off. We're going to slug no matter what the count is. You're waiting on your pitch. And they have hit a lot of home runs. It's a very offensive club. Now, I think the pitching, you can hang your hat. Alabama's got the advantage. But, hey, guys like Will Furnace, who's been at Ole Miss for a long time, starting to swing a better bat. I got Judd Udemart, who's swinging a really good bat. So, yes, this is a very offensive club, but I think you really feel good with Alabama playing at the house starting on Thursday. And I'm giving the tilt to Alabama. I mean, you're playing at the house with both teams have something on the line. Y'all mentioned that Ole Miss is trying to get into that top 16 host conversation. In my opinion, they're on the outside looking in, but a team that's playing much better baseball.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting. And in your mind, David, you one of the keys obviously is the starting pitching. Alabama's starting pitching has been very, very consistent. What must they do? What's another couple of key things that they need to do to win this series against a quality Ole Miss ball club?
All right, here's the recipe again, I'm looking at the actual box scores from South Carolina the weekend they just came off of. Tyler Fay, 7 innings in his start, then hands it off to Zane Adams, goes 6 innings. And then on Sunday, Miles Upchurch goes 6 innings. That's the recipe, and I'm not saying that you can't deviate from it, or guys going shorter stints, but if you want to win, the starting pitchers for Alabama have to go 5-6 innings at least, because most likely that keeps the game they're going because the game is close and Alabama's offensively staying in the game or holding the lead. And we talked about the thin bullpen. Now, and that's no knock on Alabama. There's a lot of thin bullpens across the SEC. Ole Miss has a 1-2 punch in their bullpen that they went to 2 out of 3 times, just like I talked about Alabama. So there's not a lot of bullpen on either side. But if Alabama can go deep into those games with the starters, it just translates, and you can use your bullets later in the weekend. So that's the key to success. But I'm really excited to see how Coach Rob Vaughn sets up the offense. He's tinkered with the lineup. He's put guys like Bryce Fowler, who are prototypically a leadoff guy, put him in the 3 or 4 spot. We talked about Eric Hines. He's a freshman. He's batting in the middle of the lineup, and we talked to JoJo Williamson and guys like Johnny Lim. They're being more offensive, and they're getting hits when they need to. They're being more. Putting the productive outs together with guys at third base with less than 2 outs. They found a way to get those small things done, which we don't talk about those things until they go wrong. But Alabama's doing that right over the last 2 weekends, and they got to keep that going into this weekend.
Well, great stuff. Have a great call. I know you and Roger Hoover do an outstanding job. But, David, we always appreciate you talking some Bama baseball. It's a huge series, huge opportunity for Rob Vaughn and crew to build here on year 3 and get to that host level, which is, I know, what he was brought in to do. But thank you, sir, and we appreciate it.
Drew and Scott, thank y'all for having me on.
Thanks. All right, let's get a break in, shall we? When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 2.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Introducing The Golfist, Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Play over 2,000 courses with state-of-the-art simulator technology, perfect for golfers of all skill levels. For a limited time, grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month, or book with our grand opening pricing. It's the best value in Huntsville. Check us out at thegolfist.com.
Our good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Leighton Ford, and you know what you never find at Lynn Leighton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that can be $600, $700, or $800. A dock fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. At Lynn Leighton, the price you see advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Leighton way. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease options, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. And believe me, it's worth the short ride over to the Beltline in Decatur to see what Lynn Leighton Ford has to offer. And what you see on that window sticker is what you will get without the hidden mystery fees. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton Ford. Find them on the Beltline.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
So we have had a very fast moving 2 hours. I mean, we started with Heath Harmon, Executive Director of the High School Athletic Association, in hour number 1, which was a fantastic conversation with him. Hour 2 was filled with Alex Scarborough talking about Greg Sankey and everything else going on there. And then we just ended it with
Cranky Sankey.
Doesn't it sound like he's just a little angry right now?
Oh, well, maybe he's just not,
But hour number 3 is going to be filled.
Pleased.
We said hour 2. I mean, it just went by so fast. What does basket weaving, Ole Miss, and recruiting standards all have in common?
I don't know. What are they?
Steve Sarkisian answered all of that, and wait till you hear all of this.
Well, I did hear Lane Kiffin's lame comment yesterday.
Yeah, but Steve Sarkisian has taken it to a whole new level. We'll explain it all when we return.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
If you've ever been in a car wreck, it almost feels like being in a movie. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people every day.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck and need a lawyer, is bigger better?
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Having thousands of cases is impressive, but do you want to be just a case number, one with lots of digits?
Or do you need a lawyer who gets to know you? With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, when you've been injured, we take the time to help.
Even in your hospital room.
Because at the Lackey Law Firm, you're not a number. We treat you like family because that's what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
And if you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Check out our latest zone deal.
Bad Daddy's Burger Bar with 2 locations. Right off the Parkway in downtown Huntsville, as well as in Madison at Cliff Farms. From burgers to non-burgers to giant chopped salads. Plus, don't forget the shakes and desserts. That's all at Bad Daddy's Burger Bar.
Just head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Zone deals on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by Hyundai Decatur, located on the Beltline.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Our good friends over at University Hyundai and, Greenway Hyundai, University Kia,
Greenway Hyundai in Decatur.
Yeah, they're all helping us kick off hour number 3, the official transportation providers here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And, okay, so we've got two different things that we can talk about. We can talk about Lane Kiffin's Vanity Fair article, or we can talk about Steve Sarkisian and his article with Matt Hayes in USA Today. Because both of which are going to provide plenty of conversation. The Steve Sarkisian comment in the Matt Hayes article might be a little bit juicier because he takes a shot at Ole Miss. And I mean, he takes a shot at Ole Miss. In the article, and I quote, he talks about Ole Miss's transfer portal practices and academic standards. He says, and I quote, this is via Matt Hayes, at Texas, we will only take 50% of a player's academic credit hours. You may be a semester from graduating, but you're going all the way back to 50% if you play here and want a degree. But at Ole Miss, they can take you. All you have to do is take basket weaving, and you can get an Ole Miss degree.
Well, I mean, all I'd say for Texas is they got as many national championships as Ole Miss in the last, since 2010.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since 2005. That's the last time Texas won a damn thing.
But why call out Ole Miss? Why call out Ole Miss for their academic standards or why signal Ole Miss and say at Ole Miss you can take basket weaving and get a degree?
Well, I mean, obviously there's been some people that's took umbrage with Pete Golding and his aggression, I guess, since he became the head coach. But and of course Lane and Sark work together, so I wonder if he takes that shot if Lane had not left town and lied to everybody in Oxford.
He goes on to say, it's like we've forgotten about academics, yet less than 5% of these guys will play in the NFL. That I understand when it comes to the transfer portal and academic issues, because that's what this whole article is about. He's opening up about the transfer portal and the academics and all that other stuff. That I get. That makes sense. But specifically calling out Ole Miss.
Well, I just think he has a problem with some coaches that are there now, and that's why he did it. It was strategic. He could have said other schools, but instead he said Ole Miss because obviously I guess he and Pete Golding, are not on the same page. Well, and I just tell Sark, get your head out of your ass because your team's got to improve because you should be under more pressure than Kalen DeBoer. Any sports writer that says Kalen DeBoer's under more pressure than Steve Sarkisian is a mental midget.
A mental midget.
Yes, stupidity. That's what it is because Alabama made the playoff. Alabama won a playoff game. Texas did not. Texas spent twice the money Alabama did. Texas should have lost to Mississippi State and Kentucky. Two sad sack programs. I'm sorry. It's a fact. Neither one of them were very good. But, I mean, Mississippi State was improved under Jeff Lebby in year 2, but that's from, an atrocity in year 1. And then Kentucky under Stoops didn't end well. He had a really good run in Lexington. It wasn't great at the end. So I think Sark, and he's done this since he's been there. I think he was the best OC of the Saban era, but we remember last year before the season, he starts trying to lie and say we didn't spend, $40 million, even though, Kirk Bowles, our good friend who's only been covering them for 51 years, said they did. Well, if he says they did, they did. Okay, I'm sorry. Kirk Bowles is not going to sit there and print lies.
He's not.
And so
he didn't get an Ole Miss. He didn't get an Ole Miss degree.
Yeah, did he major in basket weaving? I don't know. I'm just saying he's not lying.
Yeah.
And I think Sark was trying to take some of the pressure off of his team. And then they didn't play free all year, in my opinion. Yes, they beat Texas A&M at the end, and they won some sad sack bowl game, and then they've gone out and tried to buy another team. We'll see if it worked. But again, obviously he's got a problem with somebody at Ole Miss. His boy Lane's gone. Lane's too busy trying to start a race war.
Yes, that's the other. That's the other article. Boy, I tell you what, those SEC spring meetings. I mean, we talk about a lot of people not coming to dinner for our dinner because, well, you pissed them off or they're just morons?
Well, you know,
there's not going to be a lot of these coaches. I don't think.
Some YouTube about the Eagles the other day. I'm not talking about Philadelphia.
You're talking about the group, the Eagles.
The Eagles. Where Glenn
Yes.
Fry got a beer poured over his head.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would pour something over Lane Kiffin's head. I'd like to.
So, for what Drew is referring to, Lane Kiffin sat down with Vanity Fair. Of all the outlets, he sat down with Vanity Fair.
Who wrote the article?
What was the guy's name at Vanity Fair that did this? He was actually on the Feinbaum show yesterday because Paul asked him about the quote and everything.
Gotcha.
And the guy was like, look, when he started talking about the quote, and we're going to get to the quote, when he started talking about it, I was kind of like, okay. And then he kind of was like, you know, I don't want this to be portrayed as a negative light on Ole Miss. I don't want them, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But then he launched back into the quote again. So the guy, it's interesting. So what we're referring to is Lane Kiffin did visit with Vanity Fair. And in the article, Kiffin claimed that black families were hesitant to send their children to Ole Miss. He says, and I quote, "Hey, coach, we really like you, but my grandparents aren't letting me move to Oxford, Mississippi. That doesn't come up when you say Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Parents were sitting here this weekend saying the campus diversity feels so great. It feels like there's no segregation, and we want that for our kid because that's the real world."
I'm telling you what, man, Lane Kiffin, I'm telling you, instead of just wearing an Army helmet now when he goes on the field for this game September 19th, he might as well get a full set of body armor like Iron Man and just put it on.
He says, and I quote, after the interview, he says, "I just hope my comment comes across as respectful to Ole Miss. There are some things that I'm saying that are factual. They're not shots."
It's so respectful. To say that a black student athlete does not want to come to Ole Miss because they don't feel safe. That's being so respectful here in the year 2026. I mean, good grief. You're basically trying to say to the African-American student athlete that you're recruiting, don't go to Ole Miss. You're not going to be considered comfortable. You know, you're not going to be given the opportunities that you'll be given here at LSU, the bastion of integrity that is in Louisiana. I mean,
Chris Smith was the author of the article in Vanity Fair. He's a contributing editor. Okay. And here is what he said on the Feinbaum show, because Feinbaum asked him about these comments.
Well, I'm just making sure it wasn't somebody like Crystal Smith, because I just figured he was hitting on her.
No, he doesn't. This, judging by the look, he doesn't do yoga.
Yeah, okay.
Here's this.
About thinking through the decision to go from Ole Miss to LSU, and how much of it had to do with as much success, as good a run as he'd had at Ole Miss. You know, did he feel like the ceiling there was lower than it would be at LSU, you know, in terms of wins and sustainability, competing for national championships? And his answer, well, a lot of his answers covered a bunch of ground. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he started out talking about, you know, the relative money that the schools have to tap into, the histories of the football programs, you know, the profiles, the images of the schools, and then he took it in a direction that I didn't expect. I wish it was some genius question that I'd asked him, but he volunteered that idea, that couple of sentences, I don't know how many it is, about grandparents sitting in the office talking about, they're not going to let their kid go to Oxford, Mississippi. And I heard him loud and clear. I knew what he was saying. The next day, he seemed to realize that this was going to be inflammatory. And, after practice that day, I was in his office again. And, that's when he added the part about, I don't want this to sound like a shot at Ole Miss. But then he told the same anecdote all over again about, losing out on recruits at Ole Miss because of, he didn't use the words the racial history, but that's essentially what he was saying.
So that's his excuse for choking. There's just another excuse that he's making. By
the way, you can hear the Feinbaum show here each and every day on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I mean, it's an insult to Ole Miss, and it's no wonder the Mannings can't stand him. And
it's a clear shot at Ole Miss.
It's a clear shot. It was the whole time. He's trying to prop LSU up, and LSU, they don't need to be propped up like that. It's totally unnecessary. It's a stupid comment by Lane Kiffin.
But I'm not defending Lane Kiffin nor his comments, but I'm just bringing up the fact that, remember, back in 1996, Tommy Tuberville somewhat addressed some of that when he was the head coach at Ole Miss, talking about the flags and everything else like that.
That's a long time ago. That's just not. I don't think that's relevant now. I think Ole Miss is just fine. You look at how many African American student athletes they have in every sport, and even including baseball with Mike Bianco, of course. They're fine.
They've evolved and beyond that.
They're well beyond that. Okay. There should be no concerns from grandparents look, that's just totally overblown. That's Lane Kiffin just trying to set it, make an excuse for why he couldn't get over the hump at Ole Miss and why miraculously he's out of he's not coaching the team in the playoff, and they actually win a game. And they actually beat Georgia when he's not there. When he's there, they blow a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter, probably because, maybe he as the late great Wayne Gambrell would say, you couldn't get a 20-penny nail up the crack of his ass.
Well, his ass is going to get real tight if he don't win at LSU, because he is making LSU and he is portraying LSU as the Messiah of the college football world right now, that they are the better of all programs. They're the best of the programs. He can no problem getting recruits, no problem in getting portal guys to come to LSU. Now the thing is he going to have problem getting wins? Because if he doesn't,
he'll win. It's just, is he going to win at the very highest level? He's won everywhere he's been, even at USC. But the common denominator everywhere he's gone, except for Florida Atlantic, is he can't win when it matters, and he didn't win when it mattered. Only Lane Kiffin could figure out a way to get paid for winning playoff games he didn't coach.
Does he leave programs better off than what he found them?
I'm not really. I mean, USC.
He left. Did he leave Ole Miss better off than when he arrived?
I guess, but we'll see if Pete Golding can keep it going. I mean,
he definitely didn't leave USC better, right?
No, he didn't leave USC better. They sucked.
Tennessee?
Hell no.
Because he was only there for 1 year, so it's kind of hard to, I guess, destroy it all or build it up.
I mean, FAU, he certainly improved them, but that's not on the Power 4 level. You could argue maybe Ole Miss did, but I give credit to Pete Golding and the staff that stayed, because they were able to, get Trinidad Chambliss to stay and Kyron Lacey. All these people, the first thought was they were all going to follow the great Lane Kiffin and become Tigers. Well, they didn't. And we're all rebels on the 19th.
9:16, now it's 9:15 here on a Tuesday morning. We're all rebels, huh?
Yep.
Well, just so you know, I did not major in basket weaving. Got to get a break in. Talking Ball returns after this. 256.
Hell, Lane probably did.
256-576-4977. Oh, just to be there in Oxford that day when they return. Oh, my gosh. That would be awesome. Well, we're going to break. We said we're going to.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. Our good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Leighton Ford, and you know what you never find at Lynn Leighton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that could be $600, $700, or $800. A dock fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. At Lynn Leighton, the price you see advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Leighton way. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease options, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. And believe me, it's worth the short ride over to the Beltline in Decatur to see what Lynn Leighton Ford has to offer. And what you see on that window sticker is what you will get without the hidden mystery fees. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton Ford. Find them on the Beltline.
No Wi-Fi? How are we going to stream the game?
Mom, I have a research project due.
How are we going to make dinner?
Don't let power outages send your family into a meltdown. Get a Generac generator from Current Electrical. We keep your lights on and your Wi-Fi on. Visit gensuperstore.com or call 256-880-1880. Trust us, your family will thank you.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
Before you build, know the ground beneath you. OMI Incorporated has been North Alabama's trusted name in geotechnical engineering for over 30 years. We provide subsurface investigations, environmental consulting, and construction materials testing to keep your project moving forward with confidence. Commercial, industrial, and public projects, OMI has the experience to get it right. OMI Incorporated. Experience below the surface. Visit omi-eng.com. or call 256-837-7664.
Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Life in the fast lane, surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Are you with me so far?
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you look it up?
Welcome back
Fresno
in.
State.
What'd they do?
No, that's where Lane went. Do they have basket weaving?
I don't know. Probably not.
Just wondered.
There's a lot of places that.
Oh, by the way,
have unofficial basket weaving as
happened
majors.
this weekend, or at least was that's where I saw the announcement. But I got to give a shout out. He of course now back in Saraland, Alabama, and then his hometown, his home area. But he did live here during his son's time at Huntsville High, and Braden Rivers was a great player now at UNC Asheville. He redshirted last year, but Jesse Rivers graduated remotely from Boise State. Congratulations to Jesse for getting that college degree. Appreciate him, man.
That is the goal. And you know what? And when we had Heath Harmon on, yes, athletics gets lots of attention and a lot of stuff that's going on, but the ultimate goal is, he mentioned it. They're student athletes. In the high school level, that is the purest form, so to speak, because they're students first and then athletes come second.
Absolutely. So congrats to Jesse.
Yep, 256-576-4977. You can join us here on a Tuesday morning. Let's go out to the phone lines. Rod is with us this morning. Morning, Rod.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
What's going on, Rod?
Hey, I was just listening and about Lane Kiffin. I think he's doing that, which he's ignorant. He's an idiot for doing it, but I think he's doing it too for a recruiting, to kind of sway kids to LSU that might be, on the fence looking at both teams or whatever. That's just,
they're recruiting a lot of the same
I
guys.
think it's underhanded, and it's pretty bad. I think that's pretty bad. Yeah, see if you can get us some tickets to the Ole Miss LSU game. I would love to be there.
Gosh, that may be.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That may be one of the most expensive tickets. It will be probably the most expensive ticket in Ole Miss football history.
Yes. Well, it would be fun to go there and everything. So anyway, hey Scott, I'm gonna have a game show that I'm getting running, and I want you to be the host.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's be a game. I'd host a game show in a heartbeat.
Well, you already have on the commercials.
Yeah, who asked you? How did they come up with that?
Well, we have so talent. The good guy. When I say they're live and they're local, they literally are. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy. Yep. We all brainstorm, and that was their brainstorm idea. And by the way, I got a message from Thomas. He's got another idea for a commercial, and this one, Drew.
Yeah,
we want to bring you in on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you kind of just say, well, my partner Drew would do it? Drew would have loved doing that.
Well, this next one will be good. I promise. We've got the wheels in motion. We've got an idea for it, and this one will be good. I promise. This one here could be. It won't be as good as the Valentine's Day "Love Me Sexy," but it'll be pretty good.
Oh man! Well, I appreciate you guys listening. Y'all brighten up anybody's day, man.
Appreciate it, Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
Is the fella called from Kentucky that always tries to get under?
Nah, he's been banned. He got banned a long time ago, so he hasn't. He's been calling other shows, Rod. But I will say, and we haven't mentioned it because we had Heath Harmon on. We certainly have had a very active show so far. We talked a little Bama football with Alex Scarborough and Cranky Sankey, and then of course David Kindred with Bama baseball. But Alabama did get some good recruiting news yesterday in football. It was a big time commitment from Kevin Simon II, the Kenneth Simon II. Let me correct myself. Kevin Simon's son. He's a Brentwood Academy linebacker, a guy that's a 4-star recruit, and he'll be an off-ball linebacker at Alabama, but he's a legacy with Tennessee, and so it's a big-time win for Kalen DeBoer and staff. They outmaneuver Tennessee and especially Georgia for the kids, so a big piece of the defensive puzzle commits yesterday with Mr. Simon from Brentwood Academy.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, hey, Steve was telling me that he thinks don't panic on the O-line coach. That he said Wes thinks he's going to be real good. So
yeah, I think so.
Good. He made sense. I talked to Steve, and he said that, they're not going to show their hand with all the running stuff and everything. Because I told him, I said, all I saw was passing, So, but hopefully we'll get the running game going and play some fast, violent, physical football. So anyway, but hey, good talking to you guys, man. Roll Tide, and enjoy listening to you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, man.
Let's get Brandon in real fast this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, man.
I'll have a game show about Lane Kiffin. Name that side piece.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So,
or who has slept with more people, he or David Lee Roth?
I think David Lee Roth probably wins that one. I'm going to guess.
They probably don't, neither one of them want any of Gene Simmons or Elvis. They're still be in the B category of that one. So,
right.
So we're sitting here in our office, and Kayla looks at me listening to y'all talk because she sits behind me.
Yeah.
And she turns around and says, "What Drew just said would be the perfect Saturday Night Live skit." And I said, "Yeah, but they don't do funny like that." And she proceeds to tell me, she said, they should have Tosh.0 out recruiting in blackface. And I said, oh, boy. And she said, all the black people should be in whiteface. Appalled at Lane Kiffin. And I said, oh, God. And then Tony, who's behind me, says, everybody at Ole Miss should come to the game in blackface. And I said, oh, God, we're getting deep now. I said, they're going to have to screen people for claw hammers. They better bring the National Guard. That comment right there that he just said, that's a whole nother level of wow. Like, I can't even believe he said that. I'm seeing people riding around with stickers on their cars with the date on the back of it. People are wearing T-shirts right now on Facebook with the game date on it.
But remember, though, everyone needs to remember, it was not a shot at Ole Miss. He was not taking a shot, didn't mean to take a shot. It was not a shot. He loves the fine people in Oxford.
Yeah. He and Tuberville got pine boxes.
Loves them all. He's going to send them all meat and cheese platters for Christmas.
They're going to send him something for Christmas.
Well, hopefully an ass whooping is what they're thinking.
I don't know if I've ever been more fired up to watch a game that has nothing to do with Alabama than this game. And I don't think I've ever heard a more talked about game in the offseason than I have heard about this game. I've seen 50 different iterations of T-shirts that people are buying and wearing. There are fraternities over there that say they're wearing their game day shirt every day till game day.
So I've been here, Drew, since 99. I've followed the SEC since 99.
Right.
Tuberville's going back from Auburn to Ole Miss. I remember that game. I remember going to Oxford for Tuberville's first return there. And it was kind of angst, but it wasn't over the top. Has there been an SEC game where one coach left a program to another, and I don't want to say has torched the ground, but has burnt everything in between? Has there been one in this conference?
It wasn't. He went to us. It involved Lane Kiffin again. It's when he left to go to just USC. And the way he left.
But within the conference, though, like from one school, Houston Nutt went Ole Miss, Arkansas.
Nobody cared.
No one cared. No. I'm talking about just in the conference, from one school to the other. Is this the most polarizing coaching move that the SEC's had in football?
Maybe Nick Saban in LSU to Bama, but
there was a gap.
But there was a lot. Yeah, there was. But there was a lot of a lot of respect, though, because of what Saban had accomplished, and he'd helped rebuild the LSU program.
Right.
I mean, everybody hates Lane Kiffin. There's nobody that likes Lane Kiffin except the LSU fans right now. And then if he loses the Ole Miss game, they want to ship him out of town.
I mean, not even Dan. I mean, Dan Mullen from Mississippi State to Florida was almost like a you're leaving. Okay, we understand that type of move. That's okay.
That was no.
But it's not like you said. No one really cared.
Nobody cared about Clown Mullen.
I mean, Eddie O was at both schools.
He was at Ole Miss and LSU. And yet, heck, he never set the woods on fire. You know what I'm saying? You know
that's because you can buy good old Hummers in LSU.
Yeah.
You can get a Hummer in Baton Rouge.
JoJo probably went with him.
JoJo gave him a Hummer.
Well, I mean, that sounded so bad, Scott. But I mean, the thing is, that's what we need to. And Steve seems to have the magic touch with all the coaches. The week of that game, they somehow need to get Ed Ogeron on to talk about Ole Miss and LSU.
Yes, and they need to ask him about those comments and see what he says. And can they play he takes off his shirt song? Music as he comes on for the interview.
Colonel Reb is crying.
Colonel Reb is crying.
I mean, Brody, you look that up right now. It's still one of the greatest songs in history coming out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, we may have to.
I mean, I did not know Brandon had not heard that until we played it that day.
No, I was
that's a classic.
In UAE when that came out.
Yeah.
But y'all, if you get him on, y'all need to play that as he's coming on as his buffer in music.
Crying in his Confederate handkerchief.
Yep, there we go.
Colonel Reb is crying.
I hope Brandon's co-workers can hear this.
Here it is.
He asked Coach Orgeron.
Here we go, folks.
Save us from this
the best part.
Yeah.
And Coach O rips his shirt off.
What you
and
did.
This is what he says.
Football.
I cannot believe nobody had heard this when we played that day. Except me.
Football.
Brandon, thanks for the phone call, bub.
Reb is crying.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, when things will change. Coach O rips his shirt off again and then says something strange.
Brent Schaefer.
Who came from Tennessee.
Wild boys.
Yeah, and that's where that came from when he ripped his shirt off in the first team meeting talking about Ole Miss Wild Boys.
Anyway, we got to get a break in.
He has to be the guest picker. He has to be the guest picker that way, bro.
Do you think game day has to be there, right?
Of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah. I mean,
they may all have to wear bodysuits from Iron Man, but yeah.
Wow.
And then what the crazy thing is, Coach O got fired by both places.
But he's done something Lane Kiffin has not done in his coaching career.
Yeah, win a playoff game.
Win a national championship.
Win a playoff game.
That too. Got to get a break in. 9:34. We've got more fun football next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. Some of us probably going to see the low 80s. We drop into the mid 50s as we head into the overnight. A passing shower is going to be possible on Wednesday. Otherwise, a mostly sunny sky and temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. We drop into the low 50s Wednesday night, early Thursday morning.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're ending the morning on a good note this morning, and don't have any accidents to show for it, but we do have a lot of construction going on across the Tennessee Valley. Just be careful through those areas. And remember, slow down, move over. It's the law. Put down the phone in the zone. Keep those seatbelts buckled and be safe, and I'll be back with you again this afternoon. From the Rock Creek Production Studios, the most accurate traffic report in the Tennessee Valley, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com. I'm Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up, they have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
I'm Bill Crawford, the host of The Point with Bill Crawford. Tune us in Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Talk Radio WZZN.
Films, one Maverick, see Top Gun, May 13th. I'm going to put it in the theaters for Top Gun, 1 week only, back in theaters.
Yeah,
40th
so original.
40th anniversary of Top Gun.
Crazy, man. I can't believe it's been 40 years. I haven't even seen Maverick.
You haven't?
No.
I liked it. I did. It wasn't bad. A lot of predictability in it. But still, it was pretty good. But 40 years for Top Gun.
Man.
You mentioned, and I did find it You mentioned the predictions. You mentioned the fact that Nick Roush there.
Yeah.
He was talking about Kentucky and Will Stein and all the momentum from his first months on the job there in Lexington. They signed a top 10 portal class filled with some offensive linemen, flipped through high-profile quarterback they got a high-profile quarterback from Nebraska. What's it all going to translate, though, as far as this year goes? He says in his article, and I quote, this is Nick Roush, "I am here to tell you that Kentucky is going to beat Alabama." He says, is this crazy? Maybe. He says Kentucky has only taken down the Crimson Tide twice, once in 1922 and the other one 1997.
I was going to say I thought it was once in 97, but I guess they, in 22 they didn't play with real helmets. It was leather helmets, I guess, but with no face mask. But I guess that does count.
Yes, and he says, let's figure out what might unfold there. And he says they'll be buzzing for the SEC opener, the only SEC game on the schedule. ABC will certainly be in Lexington for what will likely be a 2:30 kickoff. He says hype means nothing if you can't capitalize on it. But he's got more than one ace in the holes in regards to Stein. He says the Alabama coaching staff will enter the game blind. He says advanced scouts will be able to watch Stein's offense from his time at Oregon, maybe be able to glean something. But how much can the Crimson Tide game plan for when the personnel is so dramatically different? And he says Alabama struggles early on the road. And he says Kalen DeBoer's first SEC road game was a loss at Vanderbilt. Alabama opened the 25 season on the road at Florida State, got manhandled. Simply put, DeBoer is really, really bad in this spot. He has an exceptional record against his best opponents, but is due to lay an egg once or twice a year against a seemingly overmatched foe.
Well, I see all the logic to it, and I still think Alabama's going to beat their ass double digits. And then beat them in basketball again, like they always do.
And he says a year ago, Will Stein's Oregon's offense created a lot of explosive plays. That was one of the reasons why he's predicting this win for Kentucky. He says it's much easier said than done. He is putting some logic into this. Yeah. And he's giving his readers exactly what they want to hear. He's capitalizing on the momentum that Will Stein has right now coming out of spring and trying to create a buzz.
What Roush is doing. I understand the optimism. I understand the looking at how Kalen DeBoer did against Florida State to start last year and what happened in the Vanderbilt game. But, I'll just say this for Coach DeBoer and staff. If you want to avoid the hot seat and quell all this pressure talk, then you better win a damn game in Lexington, Kentucky against a basketball school.
Are they a basketball school?
Well, they kind of suck right now. They're mediocre. They're a mediocre basketball school, but they ain't never been a football school since Coach Bryant coached, okay? Sorry, Jeff. Shove it. But that's the way it is.
For him being banned, he sure still lives up.
Because I know he's listening. He can't help himself.
Okay.
So but look, I'm just saying, and I'm sorry he can't tweet at me like he used to because I blocked his ass. But then the Nigerians took over. Because,
Well, get a new one and he can tweet back at you.
Wizen figured out it's from some clowns in Nigeria. Like, the ex-people ought to know, like, hello. I posted every day for like over a decade. I didn't live in Nigeria then. I don't live in Nigeria now. Get the knockout back! You deadbeats!
Well, create a new one so you can tweet at Jeff. AC would like to tweet at you, too.
He probably gave the Nigerians my password because he probably hacked it. At least I didn't get gangrene from his gift card.
Gangrene. Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, but I had to freaking. I had to.
Alibaba calling him.
No, it's not Alibaba.
Okay.
Sorry. Can't take a call from Arizona right now. I'm on the air.
From Arizona. We could.
No. I'm not doing that.
Anyway. Oh, boy. Now Lane Kiffin is, who's he talking to next?
Good Lord, there's no telling.
Oh, Wilson Alexander for On 3.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I figured he was going on The View.
That would be good.
Well, I mean, heck, he talked to Vanity Fair.
That would be good. Lane Kiffin on The View. You want to talk about people that don't know sports or anything about anything. Good Lord. I mean, you actually lose brain cells by listening to that crap. I tell you what, okay, so let's get a break in. We got to get it in. We'll wrap up this whole extravaganza when we return. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
What I want, you got, and it might be hard to handle, but like a flame that burns a candle.
All right, short time left here on the program. Short time left here on a Tuesday morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. In case you've missed any of the program, you can always go back and watch it on WZZN TV on the YouTube pages as well as our X and Facebook page, 97.7 ESPN. Day 2, final day of the state golf tournament getting ready to take place, and this year they're doing something kind of different. They're spreading it out. Not all the classes are on the same RTJ course, Robert Trent Jones Trail, but they're all going to be resuming today. Class 7A girls, something to keep an eye on. The Grissom Tigers start the day tied with Oak Mountain atop the 7A girls standings in golf. Claire Jamison from Grissom, she fired a 5-under 67 in day 1 of the girls. They are playing the Magnolia Grove course down there in Mobile. And Claire Jamison shot a 67, 5-under par. She has a 5-stroke lead going into the final day. Summer Yu of Auburn and Riley Weaver from UMS Wright shot 72s. They're there in second, but Claire Jamison from Grissom trying to be the medalist honor in Class 7A girls. So good luck to them. And then Lindsay Lane sits atop the 1A, 2A boys golf standings as they resume play today. And 1A, 2A boys, by the way, they are teeing it up at, got to look at it here. They're teeing it up at the Highland Oaks course in Dothan. Is the 1A, 2A boys. And Whitesburg Christian is 10 shots back there in the 3A boys. So just a little golf for you.
Well, and
high school golf.
Our good friend JimmyLifeMail.com told me earlier in the show that Westminster Christian Academy softball, they won their first regional game since 2018. They were able to win a loser's bracket game over Asheville 4-2. And then earlier today, and then now they will advance to playing Madison County, another local squad in the losers bracket over at the East Regional. So just wanted to let everybody know about that. And I know we have a lot of local teams competing in those softball regionals right now.
Yeah, they're going on in 2 different places. You got them Florence and Albertville.
That's right.
Are the 2 places. Yesterday, Class 7A did take to the softball diamond. Thompson got the best of Bob Jones, and Austin got the best of Hillcrest. Bob Jones comes back, though, gets the best of Hillcrest. And so now today at 10:45, Austin and Bob Jones will meet in the class in the elimination bracket because Thompson beat Austin after Austin beat Hillcrest. So Austin and Bob Jones will face each other. That's the 7A from the Albertville, the East region. And then your North region in Florence. Let's take a look at that one. And we're just going to visit Class 7A real fast. Sparkman falls to Hewitt Trussville yesterday. Vestavia Hills beats Huntsville. Huntsville then beats Sparkman. Vestavia Hills loses to Hewitt. So Huntsville and Vestavia Hills, they are underway actually right now. That got started at 9 o'clock. So that's your 7A softball regionals. And we've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It's a lot to get to, but we just paid a visit to Class 7A real fast.
Some good stuff going on over there. Whitney Dennis doing a good job at Huntsville High. They got a lot of good young talent, some 8th and 9th graders that have a chance to be special, but they did a good job winning the area championship. And then, as you just said, they beat Sparkman for that title. Now they've eliminated Sparkman from the regional, and now to stay alive and I think advance to state, they're going to have to beat that Vestavia team.
Yeah, you got to come all the way back, and I believe the top 2
go to state.
Top 2 go to state. So if you make it to the regional final, you advance to state, which is in Montgomery, I believe. No, it's in Oxford. It's at Chockalacca.
Everything is at Chockalacca.
Chockalacca, yes. Used to be at Lagoon Park back down there in Montgomery, and then they moved it to Chockalacca. A lot better facility there at Chockalacca. All right, we're done with our Tuesday show. Wow, a lot of stuff. It was fun. It was fun, was it not? It was fun.
Wonder how much crawfishing. There's a Cajun term for you that Lane Kiffin's going to do with Wilson Alexander.
I don't know. Claire Jamison from Grissom now is 6 under. Kate Nichols from Oak Mountain has moved to 1 under, as has Summer Yu. Live scoring, they are through 4 holes right now. Claire Jamison trying to get the medalist honors for Grissom. Grissom trying to bring home that state championship. All right, we'll update you tomorrow on a lot of stuff. Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.